Good evening, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you again for coming back. I always appreciate uh, your presence. Today is December the 8th, 2023. Thank you again for joining me. I have several news updates to share with you. I will start with a video I got from Fana uh, television in Ethiopia, talking about terrorists and extremists, uh, you know, arming themselves and bringing weapons to the capital city, Addis Ababa, to create chaos and disturbances. So that's a press statement from Prosperity Party owned media, Fana Broadcasting Television. Uh, but before this press statement, there was a call by opposition group to protest massively, estimated to bring 100,000 Ethiopians to the streets in Addis Ababa, calling for, you know, to end the conflict in Oromia, in Amara, and other parts of the country. So that was the plan, and it was announced. After the announcement, the government called these organizers to the police headquarters, talked to them to silence them, quietly, but they refused. They determined to sacrifice themselves for this organized protest. So the government came up with intimidation tactics, mass arrest of this group, and arresting all these youths in Addis Ababa, uh, whom they suspect organizing this protest. So after this, now finally, this very strong, very disturbing press statement from the government of Ethiopia. So we know from experience for the last 5 years under Prosperity Party under Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, uh, they hate to see any protest against their policy, against their failed policy multiple times, and they are allergic to talk of transitional government, very sensitive, Prosperity Party and Abiy Ahmed. So they don't tolerate any opposition figure or any opposition group calling for protest. That's why now they came to use the police, undercover operatives, and their CIA to crack down the opposition groups, the organizers of this upcoming. It was supposed to happen on Sunday and coming Sunday. So now, for due to the intimidation, harassment, arrest, uh, you know, uh, different tactics, now that protest is cancelled for now. Is extended. It might happen in the future. We don't know, but they organizers are under the threat of the government security forces. According to some media outlet, even their houses encircled by security forces, by the police, and under plainclothes undercover operatives, and the arrest is a massive arrest carried out in capital city Addis Ababa. So that is the situation. That is a very sad situation coming from Addis Ababa. The government is not uh, uh, tolerant to any opposition activities, any protest, even if you are calling for end of conflict, end of the war. peaceful, as the organizers claim, it is a peaceful protest calling for an end of armed conflict in that country. So to give you the updates, that upcoming protest call for Sunday is cancelled for now. And the organizers are under tremendous pressure, under, massive military and police and undercover operatives. Their members are arrested. Their leaders are under house arrest. You can call it under house arrest, surrounded by security forces. So let's listen to this and continue with the other. It's in Amharic, but the general idea is the one I described in English. It's a 4 minutes. If you understand Amharic, it's good to share with you. Thank you.
በሰላማዊ ሰልፍ ሽፋን አዲስ አበባን የሁከትና የብጥብጥ ማዕከል ለማድረግ የሽብር ተልዕኮ ተቀብለው በህቡ ሲንቀሳቀሱ የነበሩ ቡድኖች ሴራ መክሸፉን የጸጥታና ደህንነት የጋራ ግብረ ኃይል አስታወቀ።
የጸጥታና የደህንነት የጋራ ግብረ ኃይል እንዳስታወቀው ጽንፈኛ ኃይሎችና የሽብር ቡድኖች በአማራና በኦሮሚያ ክልሎች አንዳንድ አካባቢዎች በትጥቅ የታገዘ ግፍና ግድያ በመፈጸም እንዲሁም የጸጥታ ችግሮችን በመፍጠር የህብረተሰቡን ሰላማዊ እንቅስቃሴ እያወኩ ይገኛሉ።
ጽንፈኛ ኃይሎችና የሽብር ቡድኖቹ በአማራና በኦሮሚያ ክልሎች እየፈጸሙት የሚገኘውን ጸረ ሰላም እንቅስቃሴ የኢትዮጵያና የአፍሪካ መዲና እንዲሁም የዓለም አቀፍ ተቋማት መቀመጫ ወደ ሆነችው አዲስ አበባን በማስፋፋት በሚፈጠረው ሁከትና ብጥብጥ ሀገሪቱን የትርምስ ቃጠና እናደርጋለን በማለትም የጥፋት ስራዎችን አቅደው በህቡ ሲንቀሳቀሱ በተደረጉ የመረጃ ስምሪቶች ተረጋግጧል ብሏል መግለጫው።
በዚህ መነሻም ወደ ከተማዋ የታጠቁ ኃይሎችና ቡድኖችን አስርጎ የማስገባት ሙከራ ያደረጉ ሲሆን ሰልፍ እናካሂዳለን በሚል ሰበብና ሽፋን ሁከትና ግርግር በመፍጠር ንጹሃንን ኢላማ ያደረገ የሽብር ጥቃት የመፈጸም የተጠና እቅድ ይዘው ሲንቀሳቀሱ እንደነበር መታወቁን የጋራ ግብረ ኃይሉ መግለጫ አስታውቋል።
ይህንኑ እኩይ የጥፋት ሴራ ለመፈጸም ተልዕኮ የወሰዱ 97 ተጠርጣሪዎች በተከናወኑ ኦፕሬሽኖች በቁጥጥር ስር መዋላቸውም ተገልጿል።
ጽንፈኛ ኃይሎችና ቡድኖች ከዚህ የጥፋት መንገዳቸው እንዲመለሱ ችግሮችና ለመግባባቶች በውይይት እንዲፈቱ በተደጋጋሚ የተሰጣቸውን እድል ከመጠቀም ይልቅ አሁንም በህገወጥ ተግባር መቀጠላቸውን መግለጫው አመላክቷል።
መንግስት በኢትዮጵያ ብሎም በመዲናይቱ አዲስ አበባ የህግ የበላይነትን የማረጋገጥ ኃላፊነት ያለበት በመሆኑ የጸጥታና የደህንነት የጋራ ግብረ ኃይል የማያዳግም ህጋዊ እርምጃ እየወሰደ እንደሚገኝም ገልጿል።
የአማራ ክልል ጽንፈኛ ኃይሎችና የሸኔ የሽብር ቡድን ታጣቂዎች ሴራን ለማክሸፍ በአዲስ አበባ የተለያዩ አካባቢዎች የተቀናጀ ጠንካራና ድንገተኛ ፍተሻ መካሄዱንና ከነዚህ ጸረ ሰላም ኃይሎች ጋር በትብብር የሚሰሩ ተጠርጣሪዎችም በቁጥጥር ስር እንዲውሉ መደረጉን አመላክቷል።
ለጊዜው የተሰወሩ ተጠርጣሪዎችን አድኖ ለመያዝም የተቀናጀ ክትትልና ስምሪት እየተደረገ እንደሚገኝ ገልጿል።
ከዚሁ ጋር በተያያዘ በተካሄደ ድንገተኛ ፍተሻም ሰርገው ወደ ከተማዋ ከገቡ ጽንፈኞችና የሸኔ የሽብር ቡድን አባላት በርካታ የጦር መሳሪያዎች፣ ተቀጣጣይ ፈንጂዎች፣ ቦምቦችና የሬዲዮ መገናኛዎች ጭምር መያዛቸውም ተገልጿል።
አንዳንድ የውጭ ኃይሎች በአማራና በኦሮሚያ ክልሎች በተወሰኑ አካባቢዎች የህዝቡን ሰላም እያወኩ የሚገኙ ጽንፈኛ ኃይሎችንና ሽብርተኛውን ሸኔን እየደገፉ ሀገርን ለማፍረስ እያደረጉ የሚገኘውን እኩይ ሴራ ግብረ ኃይሉ ደርሶበታል ብሏል መግለጫው።
ይህንንም ለማክሸፍ ጠንካራ ህጋዊ እርምጃ እየተወሰደ ይገኛል ብሏል። የሀገሪቱን ህልውና አደጋ ላይ ለመጣል እየተንቀሳቀሱ ያሉ የውስጥና የውጭ ጸረ ሰላም ኃይሎችና ቡድኖች ባሰቡት ልክ ወደ ተግባር እንዳይገቡና ፍላጎታቸው እንዲገታ እየተደረገ ባለው ስምሪት ተጋላጭነትን ቀድሞ በማወቅ ሊደረሱ የነበሩ ከፍተኛ ሰብአዊና ቁሳዊ ጉዳቶችን ማስቀረትም ተችሏል።
በዚህ ሂደትም የጸጥታና ደህንነት ተቋማት የነበራቸው ትብብር እንዲሁም ተቀናጅቶና ተናበው የመስራት ባህል የላቀ እንደነበረ ተመላክቷል።
ኦፕሬሽኖች እንዲሳኩ ሰላም ወዳዱ ህዝብ እንዲሁም የአዲስ አበባ ህዝብ ጸጉረ ልውጦችን፣ ሽብርተኞችንና ህገወጦችን አጋልጦ በመስጠት ያሳየው ተሳትፎ የሚደነቅ መሆኑን ለዚህም ምስጋና ቀርቧል።
በቀጣይም የእነዚህን ጽንፈኛ ኃይሎችና የሽብር ቡድኖችን እኩይ ዓላማ በማክሸፍ እየተወሰዱ ያሉ ህግን የማስከበር እርምጃዎችን በመደገፍና ወንጀለኞችን በማጋለጥ ረገድ ህብረተሰቡ ሲሰጥ የነበረውን ጥቆማ አጠናክሮ እንዲቀጥልበት የጋራ ግብረ ኃይሉ ጥሪውን አስተላልፏል።
Okay. So this is the team, the task force giving the press statement. This include the police.
The Diamond family introduces the Safe Cracker Contest. Stop by once a day until Christmas Eve and try to guess the 5-digit combination to our safe.
The UN chief told...
Okay, I'll come back to the Gaza crisis. That's another crisis, still continue. So this is, is a very serious intimidation tactic used by the government of Ethiopia against those organizers, just for demanding ceasefire to end the conflict in Ethiopia. It's very damaging for the image of that country and for the economy of the country, the humanitarian crisis, death and destruction that has been happening since Abiy Ahmed came to power. So this group claim to organize a peaceful protest in capital city Addis Ababa on coming Sunday, but the government, as I said before, is very, very allergic to any opposition protest or any call for transitional government in that country. So they claim, these are not peaceful protests. These are organized by internal and external forces to destabilize not only the Amara region and Oromia region, but they are attempting to bring into the capital city. And in the process, they say they captured explosives, arms, and other armed groups, coming to capital city Addis Ababa. And even they captured, 97 individuals involved in this illegal activity, to disturb peace and stability of the capital city Addis Ababa. That is a claim, and they say they will continue, to keep peace and security of Ethiopia, and also encourage the public to continue their support in exposing those individuals who participate, who might be, engaged in evil intent according to the government of Ethiopia. So they use this, the existing peace and the security task force, which is organized from the police, from undercover operatives, from the army, and there are 4 groups, in this task force, and Abiy is using them to crush any opposition in that country, any protest or any call for a transitional government. So they use this system to crush down any opposition. So it's not allowed to have any protest in that country. And they claim terrorism, extremism, even if you are peaceful, they just use these terms to frighten the community to get legitimacy of their, illegal oppression against these peaceful protesters. So 97 individuals captured, arms, smuggled arms, explosives, radio communications, captured, and these are, organized and supported by OLA, Oromo Liberation Army, and the FANO, the government claims. And they use all kind of claims to silence those individuals. We know. How we know? Because they call the individuals first to negotiate, not to call this protest. but the group determined to continue. Then now they come with this forceful press statement and strong security operation against these protesters and organizers. Okay, so let's continue with the other very catastrophic situation in the global stage, the Gaza situation, humanitarian crisis, and the Israeli continued military operation, continued bombardment, the destruction of the city, the Gaza city, and the elimination of the Palestinians. These Palestinians, they don't have anything. No, they don't have any iron dome or something, to protect them. They are ordered to move from place to place, but still they are not safe from complete bombardment and indiscriminate killings and abuses by Israeli forces. And the United States is helping Israel to do all these things, despite continued resolution, continued call for ceasefire. Even today, just 1 hour ago, still the resolution failed in UN Security Council because, USA say it's not time for ceasefire. I don't know. It's disturbing, really, to see the situation continue, and the United States is, standing with Netanyahu to continue its war crime, genocide against Palestinian peoples. And Antonio Guterres, claim, the situation is out of control, but nobody is listening to him. The Arab group also called for ceasefire. Nobody is listening to them. So the war continue. And the destruction and the deaths will continue. Let's listen to this and continue with other news. Thank you again.
The Council, he invoked Article 99 because the situation had reached breaking point, warning of a complete breakdown in public order and increased pressure for mass displacement into Egypt.
The situation is simply becoming untenable. The Council called in Resolution 2712, and I quote, for the scaling up of the provision of such supplies to meet the humanitarian needs of the civilian population, especially children. End quote. I deeply regret to inform the Council that under current conditions on the ground, the fulfillment of this mandate has become impossible. The conditions for the effective delivery of humanitarian aid no longer exist. The crossing point at Rafah was not designed for hundreds of trucks and is a major bottleneck.
Guterres warned that the threat to the safety and security of UN staff was unprecedented, with over 130 killed, the largest single loss of life in the organization's history. With 60% of Gaza's housing damaged or destroyed, 85% of the population has been forced from their homes. Gazans are running out of food, with 97% of households not eating enough, with many starving. The health system is collapsing. While he called for the release of hostages held by Hamas, he argued that Hamas's atrocities did not justify the collective punishment of the Palestinian people.
The people of Gaza are looking into the abyss. The international community must do everything possible to end their ordeal. I urge the Council to spare no effort to push for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, for the protection of civilians, and for the urgent delivery of life-saving aid. While we deal with the current crisis, we cannot lose sight of the only viable possibility for a peaceful future: a two-state solution on the basis of United Nations resolutions and international law, with Israel and Palestine living side by side in peace and security. This is vital for Israelis, Palestinians, and for the international peace and security. The eyes of the world and the eyes of history are watching. It's time to act.
Palestine's envoy implored the Council to stop the war, warning that the very existence of the Palestinian people was under threat.
This war is part of the assault to end the Palestinian people as a nation and to destroy the question of Palestine. If you do not share this objective, you must stand against the war. The person leading this assault would sacrifice the Palestinian people and the Israeli people for his political, selfish survival and is a sworn enemy of the two-state solution. This is Netanyahu's war. This is the war of the extremist coalition in power in Israel.
Mr. President,
Israel again rejected the notion of a ceasefire.
if Hamas is not destroyed, such horrors will be repeated. Hamas officials have made it clear publicly, time and again, that October 7th was just a rehearsal, and they will continue to carry out atrocities again and again. Hamas is responsible for inhumane terror against Israelis. Hamas is responsible for ruling Gaza with an iron fist, forcing Gazans to live in poverty, deprived of basic human rights. Hamas is responsible for exploiting international aid to fuel their war machine. And calling for a ceasefire is precisely what ensures that this will continue.
The US envoy told the Council that while Washington strongly supports a durable peace, it does not support calls for an immediate ceasefire, arguing it would only plant seeds for the next war, placing the current draft resolution in peril. Sherwin Ricebees, SABC News, New York.
Okay, so that is a sad news to share with you.
We must ensure that everyone sees exactly.
Okay, I'll come back to this one too. It's about Gaza. It's a plea from Rashid Tlaib. Everyone is calling for ceasefire. Everyone is crying for help. But who is an obstacle for this is the United States. It's not time. Plus Israeli claim. I don't know when they want to stop. Maybe when they capture the whole entire Palestinians and maybe Lebanon or maybe Syria. I don't know. We don't know what is the end for Israelis. Nobody knows. They are attacking Syria. They are attacking Lebanon. And that's it's very sad, really. It's almost for 2 months completely destroying Gaza and completely destroying the lives of defenseless Palestinians living in Gaza. So far, the update number I have for you is 17,487 Palestinians are reported dead. And still the number is going up. The United States is still objecting the immediate ceasefire. This is troubling under Biden administration. Very sad, very sad. And Israel is acting above the law thanks to the United States support in UN Security Council. If not for that reason, it could have been stopped long time ago. This war could have been stopped long time ago. But the United States is behind all these killings by giving weapons, money, and also political support and veto support at the United Nations. So we don't know how it's going to end. 1 hour ago, as I said, the resolution failed for ending this conflict. Okay, this is from U.S. State Department, and is a press statement about Special Envoy Mike Hammer traveling to Djibouti, Qatar, and Ethiopia. U.S. Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Mike Hammer, will travel to Djibouti, Qatar, and Ethiopia from December 7 to 17. In Djibouti, Ambassador Hammer will attend the 41st Extraordinary Summit of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD Assembly, heads of state and the government on Sudan, and meet with Djiboutian officials. EHRC Hammer will support regional and international efforts on Sudan to end the conflict, promote a democratic transition process for unhindered humanitarian access, and support justice and accountability for victims of the violence. In Qatar, Ambassador Hammer will participate in the Doha Forum. He will discuss with Qatari officials regional and international efforts to end the ongoing violence in Sudan and advance stability in the Horn of Africa. Maybe he will talk to Qatari officials not to provide drones to Addis Ababa or Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. So that's a good diplomatic engagement. Qataris, Turkeys, and providing weapons to Abiy Ahmed or Ethiopia. So engaging with Qataris, telling them to stop, not to supply weapons. In Ethiopia, Hammer intends to meet with African Union officials to coordinate efforts on Sudan and other regional priorities. He will also urge Ethiopian officials to continue implementation of the cessation of hostilities agreement on northern Ethiopia, including making progress on disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration, as well as transitional justice and accountability. Ambassador Hammer will urge negotiated resolutions to ongoing violence in the Amhara and Oromia regions, calling on all parties to protect civilians, refrain from hate speech, and respect human rights. So he will travel to Ethiopia to get transitional justice and demobilization, disarmament, which is a good thing. But we will see if any justice will be served under Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Any justice, we will see. Remain to be seen. This one is Commission expose disturbing human rights abuses across Ethiopia. This is Ethiopian Human Rights Commission report. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, EHRC, has issued a statement outlining severe human rights abuses affecting civilians in Ethiopia's Amhara, Benishangul Gumuz, and Oromia regions. The Commission, after thorough investigation in the affected zones and the districts, has documented incidents including attacks leading to loss of life, physical harm to non-combatants, property destruction, and widespread displacement. In the Amhara region, ethnic clashes in November 2023 within the Awi and West Gojam zone resulted in multiple casualties, as verified by the Commission. Subsequent attacks in the Ambala Kabale area of the Ayu Guksa district in Amhara's Awi zone on 9 November resulted in multiple casualties, including the deaths of civilians. According to the Commission, the instability continued on 9 and 11 November when a non-state local militia raided West Gojam zone's Bure district, situated along the Oromia region border, resulting in the deaths of several dozens individuals. Thousands of terrified locals were displaced, seeking refuge in makeshift camps in nearby districts. The Benishangul Gumuz region also witnessed violence in Asosa zone's Oda Bilgu district on 29 November, where militants targeted the Belmili, Al-Kashafi, and Baladeru Kabbales, resulting in 17 fatalities and 7 critical injuries. The attacks also led to destruction of nearly 100 homes, along with the theft and devastation of crops and cattle stocks. In Oromia, a series of attacks within a week in the RC and the Kellam Wallagga zones claimed the lives of numerous civilians. On 13 November, unidentified individuals opened fire in Tijo Lebu Kabale, Sharka district, RC zone, resulting in the deaths of 7 family members and 3 neighbors. On the same day, at least 12 civilians lost their lives in a similar attack in Sole Digelu Kabale. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission confirmed that the victims in both incidents were non-combatant civilians. 4 days later, on 17 November, militants attacked Konye Kabale, killing 8 members of the same family. Witnesses reported victims being dragged from their homes and killed, with pregnant women, infants, and individuals over 80 years of age among the deceased. An undisclosed number of additional individuals were injured and are currently receiving medical care. In Kellam Wallagga, on 24 November, 9 church members were killed in Gidami districts, Manako, Menamo, Kabales, Mekane Jesus Church. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission indicated that the victims were targeted while praying inside the church. While 2 women and an elderly man were spared, the assailant identified 9 people by name, took them to a nearby forest and killed them before disposing of their bodies. Some of the victims were found to be family members. Ethiopian Human Rights Commissioner Daniel Bekele has urgently called for government intervention to prevent further civilian casualties. He appealed to officials to prioritize political solutions to alleviate rising ethnic tension, advocating for transitional justice, and emphasized the need for security provisions to facilitate the safe return of displaced populations. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission reiterated its commitment to ongoing monitoring and evidence gathering in the affected zone. Credit Addis Standard. So that is a troubling situation. Keep happening under Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Keep happening, and this is a government established organization, Ethiopian Human Rights Commission. But thanks, it looks like it's acting independently, but it's funded and established by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Still reporting about the abuses, the deaths, and the destruction in Ethiopia. That is common under Abiy Ahmed since he came to power in 2018 and non-stop. It looks like a shoot to kill policy is adopted under this prime minister, and the concerned citizens media repeatedly call upon him to resign, but there is no way he can resign. Haile Mariam Desalegn did, before all this damage, his predecessor, all this damage before happening, he resigned for the sake of the country. So again, I will call upon Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to do that for the sake of the country, for stability of the country. Civilians are dying for no reason. And those armed police, militia, and the special forces are given green light in Ethiopia, really. Just go around and assassinate Ethiopians. This is a disturbing report coming from Ethiopia, and we don't know how it's going to end as long as Prosperity Party and the Prime Minister remains in power. And we're talking about transitional justice. It's a joke, really. It's a joke under Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. So that's enough, for today's reading. Let's share with the videos. And in just past weekend, in the last couple of days, also the Oromo community living in America, especially in America, different Oromo community wrote a letter to the government of Ethiopia to continue, peace talk with OLA and to, bring this issue to an end. People are suffering. So the diaspora community, the Oromo diaspora community, also urged the government to continue third round of peace talks and settle this very, very catastrophic situation in Oromia. The constitution is there, it's well written, but Ethiopians are scared to demand it. Scared, because Abiy Ahmed uses all the one I said, the peace and the security task force to crush any opposition. So there is no way they can get justice and freedom under Abiy Ahmed. No way. And this very disturbing situation will continue. And just we hope it will come to an end, but I don't see any breakthrough in this open killing of citizens, taking people from church and just assassinate them and throw them in the forest. I didn't see this is happening under TPLF administration or Haile Selassie or Turk. I didn't see this. This is open. No court can hold them accountable. And all the system is cooperating with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. That is the troubling. The justice system, the police, the federal army, all of them following Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed order. And that's why we are witnessing this horrific deaths and destruction in Oromia and in Amara region. Thank you again for sharing your time. Let's continue with a couple of videos and finish today's presentation. Okay. Apologies for this technical issue. Okay, here we go. Come on. Okay. This is Rashida Talib, and also calling for, end of this conflict in Gaza. And, it's very disturbing, but what can we do?
What extremist Netanyahu is doing to thousands of innocent Palestinian civilians, especially our children who are being starved in Gaza and pulled out of the rubble, many in their pajamas. The dehumanization and violence is horrific.
It's terrible.
I hate giving them my tears, but I'm not crying because of them. I'm crying because our shared humanity is getting lost every single day. We do not call for a ceasefire. So I once again stand here to ask my colleagues, how many more lives will be enough for you all? How many more innocent civilians and children have to be killed? How many more lives will you accept as collateral damage?
Biden should answer.
There's nothing humanitarian about giving Palestinians a few days of rest before they are bombed again.
Biden. I
We are
didn't
calling for
expect
an end
Biden
of
to
this
act in
violence,
this way.
not
I
a break
didn't
in the
know he's a
violence.
cruel
The
man,
temporary
Very cruel.
pauses are not enough.
Biden administration.
The National Assembly of Venezuela approved in the first discussion the bill presented by the President Nicolas Maduro in defense of the Essequibo territory. During this Wednesday ordinary session, the plenary of the legislature discussed the draft organic law for the protection of the Guyana Essequibo. The legal text for the defense of the sovereignty of the Essequibo territory was presented by the Deputy Diosdado Cabello, who pointed out the importance of the initiative formulated by the population consultation on December 3rd in Venezuela. Cabello assured that what follows after the people's vote yes is to enforce the mandate to defend national sovereignty.
Six, the new map of Venezuela should be published and disseminated in all schools, high schools and universities in the country. What a beautiful map.
Aquí se ve, no se ve, ¿quién no lo ve? Aquí, compadre. ¿No? Aquí, hermano, pero aléjalo más para que se vea, porque queremos que se vea nuestra Guayana Esequiba completica, ¿ves? Que no quede nada.
Because the Guyana Essequiba belongs to Venezuela. There is no doubt. Here it is.
Okay. That's another trouble cooking in South America. Venezuela conducted a referendum to take the island of Guyana, which is independent and it has its own administration, president, everything, and they have oil rich, very rich in oil, and Venezuela is now, I don't know, Venezuela is already in a very bad shape since Hugo Chavez left office. They are, in chaos economically, politically, but now they are conducted this referendum. The parliament approved this referendum. Try to take the Ghana, the oil-rich region. I think I don't even say that's the strip of land, full of natural resources. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna send army to take that strip of land from Guyana and bring it to Venezuela. It's a very tough one. But they approved through referendum, and the parliament also approved. The referendum took place last week, and the United States and other countries oppose this Venezuela's action, and we'll see what's going to happen. This is another war maybe cooking in the South America. So that's all I have for today, and I hope I will come back with much better news on Ethiopia especially. But nothing will come out better under Abiy Ahmed leadership. Unless those police undercover operatives and the federal army, say enough is enough to this prime minister, and they should, abide by the constitution of the country. If that happens, the war in Amara region, the war in Oromia region, Benishangul, everywhere, all these human rights violations, they just open assassination of Ethiopians everywhere will come to an end. But as long as they are cooperative with this policy, as long as they became yes men, you don't see any change, any justice, any accountability under Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. And it's disturbing, really. Very disturbing, taking people from prayer area and just openly assassinate them and throw the body into forest. This is very disturbing, very disturbing. It has been like this. 16 Abagadas or senior, cultural leaders in Karayu assassinated. No one accounted for that. That's why this crime keep happening again and again in Ethiopia. And the international community, they talking, but I don't know how they're going to bring Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and the senior officials to ICC, International Criminal Court. I hope to see one day in my lifetime for those all illegal operations, illegal killings, that distractions happened in Ethiopia, in Tigray, in Amara, in Oromia, and everywhere. Transitional justice. We want to see. That's all I have for today. Thank you again for sharing your time with me. I will be back with other news update. So long, everyone.